Okay, infiltration. I'm with it. It's part of what the team was built for from the beginning. You know, the original point, the whole "you go where we can't" thing. I'm with it. I'm with it. Also, acknowledgement of the simultaneous ice attacks, which happened like 10 episodes ago or whatever at this point. So, plus to story. Waller, this setting's version of Amanda Waller is in charge of Bell Rev. Something about that actually amuses me quite a bit. Also, was that my first thought was that Strange behind her? And then she introduces him. Oh, okay, yeah, it actually is Hugo Strange. I'm sure he's not evil. uh, I do like how they managed to continue to portray Waller as she should be. She's a normal person who will not budge an inch. And that's actually one of the reasons why I continue to like her as a character, despite everything, because she's just not dealing with it. No. Odd question though. Why do they keep all these superpowered people imprisoned here rather than anything else, like killing them, for example? Yeah, I know. There's a whole thing related to that, but these are superpowered people who are villains who are probably killers, so. I did like the line, "No, yes, the walls are thick enough to hold Superman. We know. We checked." It's actually something that amuses me, the idea that a government can use a superpowered hero to test against the supervillains. I'm reminded of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where Odo was used in several ways to try and look into, changelings. Just a nice little tidbit there. So, I mentioned the fact that they're keeping them in prison. Did I also mention the fact that they're keeping them in double bunks? Now, I don't know where Bell Rev is actually situated, but here in the States, the dual bunk system is only used for prisons that already have an overcrowding problem. Prisons, or jails, that is to say, that don't. They usually have one person to a single cell, and for reasons that are actually pretty obvious if you think about it in hindsight. They are allowed to go out and gather in the communal area in the interval, but then they go back to their single cell. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I bringing this up? Well, because usually the jails and prisons that actually use the dual bunk system or triple bunk system do so because they're overcrowded, which I mentioned earlier. How many supervillains do they have in here again? Anyways. So Icicle Senior's the head dude. And notice that several of the people working for him are the people they bagged in previous episodes, including Blockbuster and Nameless guy who had the super venom running through him. So, plus to story. I'm loving this continuity. I'm starting to think that, I know that television has been far more focused on continuity in the last 10 years than when I was really into television. It's just awesome to see, so forgive me for continuing to enjoy it. So, then Riddler's made fun of by everyone. Yeah, okay. Now, obviously I finished seeing the episode now, so I get that, the Riddler, hey, the Riddler managed to escape. He was the only one who managed to get out in the midst of all of that. Right, he's totally irrelevant, because he's the Riddler, and I've never read Hush. What are you talking about? But the other thing I like about that is that they do this a second time, too. And in both times, I actually made a note in my notes here before I knew the end of the episodes that this is all about Riddler. This is all about getting Riddler out. I don't know why or how, but that's the objective. Yeah, sure, the rest of the jailbreak, sure, but I'm pretty sure that's the focus. And I'm pretty sure I'm right. We'll see in the future. So, they have an interesting point, and this is something that's actually been brought up several times, by DC in particular. If there was someone who really was good at psychology, truly, legitimately understood the way the human mind worked, they would probably be very invaluable when it comes to a capes scenario like this one. The idea of being able to dissect why people are the way they are and how they are the way they are, and be able to think through them. It would also allow you more of an advantage when it comes to things like, for example, figuring out people's identities, just tossing that out there too. Which is funny, because Strange traditionally does exactly that. Anyways, as a quick aside, my personal favorite Strange to date is actually the one from Arkham City, just to get that out there. Although I liked the DCAU Strange as well, but he was more of a cameo. So, I like how Connor and Icicle Jr. kind of bond over their relative father issues. And it's weird because Icicle Jr. is like weirdly relatable and nice for basically the whole show. Like he just kind of remains a decent guy. Granted, he's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, and you know that's kind of Yuri Lowenthal for you. But still, there's just a relatability there. It's kind of funny to see it. So, they have some good tension music. Everything's going down. Freeze starts to take over. You can see this is the flaw that every security system in fiction tends to make, and several in real life has as well. It's called a singular point of failure. Thick walls and guns and people with, all this stuff. None of that matters if the collars stop working. That's their single point of failure. And lo and behold, that ended up being the big point of failure here. Just something they might want to look into. Although I'm not even going to get into how the hell, you'll notice they just kind of hand wave away. Yeah, it's a color that specifically inhibits specific powers. How? How is that even remotely possible that they could design a color for super strength? Like, as if there's just some kind of specific something, I don't even know what to call it, like an energy property that can be inhibited from the neck, by the way, to prevent your feet from having super strength. Hand wave, magic, I get it. Moving on. Sorry. Confetti, magic. So the break happens, they start getting out. Most people don't actually take off their collars, which is funny in its own right. Ojo keeps on that stupid helmet, by the way, although he's also from the previous episode, and he would recognize Superboy for being the one who took him out. So, plus the story. I'm loving this continuity, I really am. And Frieza's big weakness is actually hilarious. He is continually portrayed as if he's some big villain, but he isn't. He's actually probably one of the weakest of the ice-themed villains we've seen here, with the possible exception of Captain Cold, who's even more pathetic. Freeze, yeah, sure, he's got the will, and he's got the mentality, and he's got a glass bubble, which he needs to keep alive. That's a hell of a weak spot, buddy. So, I'm just kind of fast-forwarding through a bit of this, but I really liked Icicle Jr. through this. And there's this bit, dude, that's your sister. Just, God, dude. There's even a bit earlier, I was like, man, she was totally a babe. Like, you don't even, I know you don't see it because she's your sister, but man, I thought they were going to go with the southern joke there, but thankfully they just skipped right over that. So the end of the episode happens. Hugo Strange is in charge now. I actually kind of wonder why Waller was kicked out of charge. That's interesting. And so now Strange is working with Icicle Sr., and both are working for the Light. And the Riddler got out. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Riddler in the future, because Riddler actually is one of my favorite little side Batman villains, mostly because of this exact point. The best stories involving Riddler are usually ones where he's underestimated by everyone else. He's not a big name. He's not like Two-Face, who controls huge properties of gangs. He's not like Penguin, who controls huge properties of more political and financial outlets. He's not Joker, who's just on top of the heap. No, he's just some guy in the corner who likes to do these little pranks and whatnot. And I love it when he gets to show off just how smart he really is. Anyways, we'll see if they ended up doing that next time.